Good morning, Ultimate Hustlers. It is that time of the morning for the Cortez Hustle Show. And today I got a very special guest who's going to be talking to us all about selfie world, right? How do you make yourself look good in your own self-portrait? How do you use your cell phone and your best lighting, the angles and all of that good stuff? Because a good image is also part of your brand, ladies and gentlemen. And you can't be an entrepreneur if you don't have good, clean images of yourself. And she's going to talk about that. Also go into the psychology of a good self-portrait and how that builds your self-image. The whole 9 yards, man. I can't wait for you guys to hear from her. But do me a favor, comment in the chat where you're from, drop the name of your business and or your brand, and smash that share button, ladies and gentlemen, because it's about to go down. Yo, what's up, Ultimate Hustlers, and welcome to the Cortez Hustle Show, the business podcast for the entrepreneur of the 21st century. And I'm your host, Cortez Hustle. Our goal is to give you a behind-the-scenes look at how the world's greatest hustlers build amazing brands, scale their businesses to incredible heights, sell more, make more, and create mass movements that impact the world. It doesn't matter if you're a seasoned vet or you're sitting on the sidelines with aspirations to one day unleash your inner hustle. This show will provide the insights into how pure grit, determination, and hard work has morphed into some of the most iconic brands and personalities and how they are moving the culture forward. You'll get a mix of solo shows featuring yours truly, as well as interviews and content from other hustlers that I either know personally or I've learned from or whose grind I've come to know and respect. And you'll also get exclusive recordings from our membership called Monetize My Life Academy, which you can check out at monetizemylifeacademy.com. That's a program where we go live every month with some of the best hustlers on the planet, sharing best practices on how we all can explode our brands with advanced branding and marketing tactics, business development strategies, and financial game planning necessary to build the empires we all desire. Again, that's at monetizemylifeacademy.com. If you like today's episode, chances are the hustlers you're connected to will like it as well. Share it with those in your network. And when you do, use hashtag Cortez Hustle so I can see you and hopefully give you a shout out and share you in my stories. So check out today's episode and make sure you subscribe to the feed on your favorite podcasting networks. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Cortez Hustle Show. I am, of course, your host, Cortez Hustle, also known as the one and only financial health mentor from MyPerfectMoneyPlan.com. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you're trying to build generational wealth, then you need to check out the Generational Wealth Masterclass over at MyPerfectMoneyPlan.com. MyPerfectMoneyPlan.com. Excuse me. I literally show you how to get double-digit returns on your money, how you can go from 0 to 100 million in just a few generations. Yes, I did say generations, right? We're talking about generational wealth. So you got to have a long range plan. And I show you that at myperfectmoneyplan.com. So go check that out. Today, man, we got a wonderful show for you. We're talking about your self-image, your branding, your marketing, how to create the best selfies with a very special guest. Lucia is going to come on and break everything down for you. But before we get to that, y'all know I got to give you a couple of announcements real quick. I've got to give a huge shout out and thank you to my girl Shamrika. She had me on her show yesterday, and I shared some things about myself that I don't often talk about, willing to talk about, but don't seem to get enough of a chance to. And we talked about my mental health journey, how I literally lost my mind and got it back, and the process that led up to that and how I was able to heal and get myself together. Make sure that y'all check the link in the comments as well as in the show notes if you guys want to go check that out. It's an amazing story of how my wife loved me through a complete mental meltdown and got me back on track. Also, tonight, if you are ever thought about publishing a book, I want to invite you to a self-publishing masterclass tonight where I'm actually going to be talking about my 21-day to launch program and process, how you can literally publish and launch your own book in the next 21 days, how you can build an authority brand around it, and ultimately get to a place where you have the systems and mechanisms in place where that book will market and sell itself on autopilot. Links in the comment for you to register for that event. That's 8 p.m. Central Standard Time tonight. You do not want to miss it. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I've got the pleasure and the privilege and an honor to introduce to you a Los Angeles-based Argentine-born photographer and educator who helps people feel comfortable in front of the camera using spiritual psychology tools. What? Yeah, it's about to go down. So let me introduce to some and present to others, Madam Lucia Doynel. Did I say that last name right? I was worried about that.
Well, it's so funny because I grew up in Argentina, like helping people pronounce my last name correctly.
Mm-hmm.
It's French, and everybody would say it like you said it, Doynel, and it's actually Doynel, but yeah, nobody knows.
Doynel. Okay, all right. So an Argentinian with a French name is kind of like an African American with a Spanish name. You ready for this? My name.
Well, I mean, it is a very heavily colonized country.
Yeah. So my name is Hernando Cortez. And that's about all the Spanish I can speak, Lucia.
I won't hassle you into Spanish speaking.
All right. Well, before we get into your story, I like to start the show with a quote of the day. I get up and do my workout, and I'm usually listening to something motivational, and something always jumps out at me that I have to jot it down. And today's quote of the day right here on the Cortez Hustle Show is as follows. I'm going to give mine. If you have a favorite quote you like to share, you can do that, or you can just chime in on this one. But today's quote of the day: most people try to create new reality with the same personality, not realizing that you have to become someone new. Most people are trying to create a new reality with the same personality without becoming someone new. I believe that wholeheartedly. I believe you have to change and evolve. If you want a new output, you have to have a new input. And most people want different results without changing anything. And it doesn't work that way, Lucia. Do you have a favorite quote, or do you want to chime in on that one?
Oh my God. So I'm probably butchering it, but basically it's your job is not to seek for love, but basically to remove all the barriers that are keeping you from experiencing it.
Ooh, heavy. I like that. And we don't often see it that way, right? We're searching. Hey, man, but we got all these roadblocks, and it's actually trying to find us, but it can't get to us, right? So turn down those things, and love will find you. I love it. Well, now it's time to get into your story. So tell everybody, who the heck is Lucia?
Well, I live in LA now, but as we mentioned before, I was born in Argentina. I moved here in 2010 after winning the green card lottery. So for those who don't know, it's a diversity visa that encouraged migration to the US.
Love it.
It's wild to think of that. Yeah. So Argentina had a low number of people living in the US, so they included us in the lottery.
Oh, nice.
To create more diversity. So I won, and here I am in the States, and I was probably like right off the bat, just like, working, going back to school, figuring it out. Like, when you move to a new place, it's kind of like you get a new lease on life. It's like growing up in Argentina, there was this box, and then like moving to another country, there is no box. Like, I could see probably all my high school friends like living the cookie cutter life that it was probably meant for me as well. But I think that in a way, like being in another country gave me this full permission to be and do whatever I wanted without feeling like I had to do things. And so like I went back to school and I studied fine arts, and I picked up my photography again, which I used to do when I was like younger. And then I went on to study spiritual psychology, and I got my master's at the University of Santa Monica. And one of the things that I did it for myself, it wasn't like, oh, I want to become a therapist. It was more about, I would love to let go of some baggage, you know. My mom passed away when I was 14, and I had to deal with a lot of grief and coping mechanisms. And right around the same time, I developed a very strong eating disorder, and it had been carrying me like, you know, on and off through my whole life. And it's like kind of like that lingering thought of like, oh, if I could just like heal this one thing, if I could just let go of this one thing, my life would be great.
Nice.
And so, yeah, I went on to study spiritual psychology, and right around the same time, I was working as a marketing director for a nonprofit. And so like, I had it good, you know what I mean? Like I was working and doing something that it was fun to do, easy to do for me. Plus, you know, doing all this inner work on my spare time. But my passions, like, you know, catched up with me, and I was like, oh my God, this is not fulfilling. I think if I want to truly embrace the freedom that I thought I wanted in the beginning, like I want to become an entrepreneur, and I want to do my own art. And that's when I started like building my video and photography business on the side. And I quickly, like I started working with clients, and I quickly saw how many people were so awkward in front of the camera. And having my background in spiritual psychology, I was like, oh my God, they need this. So I developed some practices, kind of like I grabbed my little toolbox, and I just developed some practices that I could just like bring to my sessions. And I developed a whole framework when I was working with clients, you know, me behind the camera. But I think I didn't really I got so comfortable behind the camera, let's be honest. It's a safe place to be. People would have like, because I wasn't working with models or actors, I was working with like entrepreneurs, founders, you know, people that are trying to put their work out, their coaches, yoga teachers, and they would have literal meltdowns in front of me. Like, oh my God, this is so vulnerable. And I'm like, yes, tell me more, you know, like what's triggering about this? And so one of the things that really like hit home for me in that process was like, it's not that you do the inner work once and you're done. It's like a constant thing that you need to work on. Because I sadly lost a friend a few years ago, and I volunteered to do the memorial video.
Oh, wow.
And as I was doing the memorial video, and all of our friends were sending me selfies with each other, and like, you know, like one does, you know, when they see their friends. And I realized the only photo I had with James was like a photo I took of him on a photo shoot.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my God, I missed having photos with my friend. And like, now he's gone. And it really hit me. I was like erasing myself from my own history.
Wow. Well, we got to dive all the way into that. We're going to take a quick commercial break, because that is one of the reasons I do this show. We're going to get into that on the other side of this break, Lucia, but I want to know more about the spiritual psychology, because it's kind of like, I don't know if I've ever heard those two words together, right? Spiritual and psychology. It seems like that don't necessarily mix. So we're going to talk about that on the other side of this break. Y'all make sure y'all support our sponsors. So keep it locked right here. If you're looking for premium essential oils loaded with all natural healing botanicals, look no further than myoilsclub.com. These amazing facial oils will help create radiant skin while reducing wrinkles and pumping your skin better than Botox. Ciao Bellissima is a magic body oil that reduces stretch marks and scars, and it's great for new moms. Give your body that golden glow and be the belle at the beach on your next vacation. HairRx is a potent hair restoration oil that revives dead follicles and stimulates hair growth in as little as 6 weeks. Quality products from a quality brand because you deserve it. Like and follow us on Instagram and Facebook at My Oils Club. Luxury organic beauty and home products for those who won't compromise on quality. Nourish, hydrate, radiate. MyOilsClub.com. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Cortez Hustle Show. MyOilsClub.com. One of the things I love about them, Lucia, is they literally are paraben-free, organic, certified vegan. They don't test on animals, any of that stuff. So if you want radiant skin that glows, then check out MyOilsClub.com. Also, make sure you check out their subscription box where they can actually custom craft some stuff for you as well. And when you support our sponsors, ladies and gentlemen, at $100 or more, you also get a free vacation voucher. So make sure y'all check that out as well. But before we went to break, Lucia, we were talking about what exactly is spiritual psychology. And if I understand it correctly, I can now see clearly the connection between what you are seeing from your clients, that meltdown in front of the camera and that reluctance to be vulnerable. And you're actually equipped to help them through that. So walk us through what exactly is spiritual psychology?
Well, it's basically the application of healing tools. Mm-hmm. And it is on the mind, but it's on the spirit. I feel like we always forget that we are mind, body, and soul, mm-hmm. and it's all interconnected. And it didn't used to be. Historically, psychology was the study of the spirit, mm-hmm. and it just became of the mind in the later years of psychology. Gotcha. And so spiritual psychology is kind of redundant in a way, if you knew that, like if you were back in, you know.
Yeah, it's like we're studying psychology.
Right? But when the confirmation, or like the use of spiritual modalities, as well mm-hmm. as, pearls and like different psychologist techniques, mm-hmm. So there's a few Gestalt approaches that I usually do. There's like different approaches that are like more about to do also with intention and mm-hmm. kind of like mm-hmm. bringing like your soul forward into the process, not just your consciousness or like your unconscious.
Gotcha. I love that, man, because I can see that with your history and that work, you can really on a photograph capture someone's spirit, right? I can only imagine, like when I looked at your photo that we used for the flyer for the show, I was like, man, that's amazing, right? And you don't think about that kind of stuff in terms of images, but as a marketer, I do think about that kind of stuff. Like, how do I connect to the essence of this person's problem and let them feel me, and that I am genuinely trying to provide a solution and that kind of thing. So what was it like when you had the first client meltdown on you in front of a camera? You just, hey, I'm just trying to get some photos to make you look good, and you're having this whole meltdown. What was that like?
Well, honestly, like I wouldn't share someone else's experience mm-hmm. because of confidentiality, mm-hmm. but it was a very humbling experience in terms of seeing someone like really struggling and like figuring out like how their purpose fits within what they were doing. And I think mm-hmm. it always comes back to like our purpose and how we think we are impacting our lives. I feel like we are in a time where basically content is everywhere, and it's our body of work.
Mm-hmm.
And there's kind of like a disconnect between being our body of work and actually matching and aligning intentionally with what we want for ourselves.
Yeah, and you keep saying intentionally and intention. How important is that from the spiritual psychology side to really think about that before you go into producing this body of work, before I produce a podcast episode, before I create a course, before I sit down with a client, right? How important is it to really set the intention beforehand to make that the best meeting, the best event, the best piece of content ever?
Well, I think it's huge, because it's almost like you're calling your future self forward. So so this is not unlike when you, like in photography, we have this kind of terms like a future facing portfolio. So when you're trying to break out of like doing generic photography and you're trying to send for something and just develop your own artistic voice, you kind of start experimenting with your own photography, and you only kind of like create a portfolio of like the ideal, like your ideal scene of what your ideal client would be, right? The kind of photography you want to do. And it's kind of like that, like when we're creating our brand images, we are communicating our essence. Like, what is personal brand? Is what somebody feels and thinks of you. And so like after meeting you, and how do you make them feel and how they think of you when they think of you,
right?
It's huge. And an image communicates so much more, than we think of, right? Like a good photo, it can be a good photo, composition, lighting, and all that. But if you're not really showing your heart in that photo, or you're not really communicating what's behind it, you can tell. Like I've seen this like so many times of like people like loving a photo that maybe is not necessarily like the perfect photo, but you can see in their eyes, you can see in their heart that the essence is coming through, and it 100% will trump the other, like the perfectly curated photo that it has, like it's not really showing that essence.
Yeah, I love that, because my wife will tell you that I will see an image, and my question always is, who took that picture? Who captured that moment that says so much about this person? Whether the smile is glowing, there is something there.
There's literally a twinkle in their eye.
Yeah, it's something you can feel when you see the image versus what you're just looking at. And I guess I never thought about it, but I see, photo shoots on TV and that kind of stuff. And you see, do it again, take another shot. And you're wondering why they're snapping like continuously. Like, and it's like, why are you taking so many pictures, right? Because you never know which one is going to capture that essence or that glow, right? When it comes to personal branding and the world that we live in, I put on the flyer selfie world, right? Because everybody is in this whole selfie world trying to capture every signature moment. Is it what they say? Like, I can't take a selfie to save my life. Lucia. I swear I can't. But is it what they say about the angles, and that kind of stuff? What are some good practices that somebody like me who knows I have a problem taking selfies can kind of start to implement little by little to make me a better selfie taker?
Angles is huge. Like I have a course and I have a whole like lesson on angles, because it's a little more deep than you think. But just as a rule of thumb, think about. Okay, so I see this huge mistake a lot. Like people they just think that the higher the camera, the better. That's not always true.
Listen, whenever I try to take a selfie, I always do that.
Why are you trying to be a little person?
I don't
Like
know.
you look like a little like pocket-sized person. So like if you're doing like a waist up, high and like a high angle works great, but it's not always a solution. If I'm doing a full body shot, I want to go down. Like I want to go as low as I can. Like, have you ever seen a photo shoot behind the scenes and the photographer is like on the floor? Like,
yes.
That's because, like you want to go low because basically it makes the person longer.
Gotcha. Yeah, that I mean, I see so many people. Do you think that we are on a selfie overkill when it comes to these platforms now? Instagram, everybody is like, when I say selfie overkill, everybody is looking for that perfect shot. So you're taking 10 pictures to find one, right? Is that necessary? Do you think that's a spiritual psychology problem, or is it really, are they just simply trying to capture that essence, or could that be a deeper self-worth problem, self-esteem problem, self-confidence problem? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, there's so much to unpack there. Just a few, just off the bat, what you said about selfie. So I think selfie is basically you using your arm in taking a photo of your face. That's a selfie.
Yeah.
That's what I say. Like the moment you put your phone on a tripod or you put it somewhere else and your hand is not like you're not.
You got a remote control, or you got it on a timer.
It's no longer a selfie. It's a self-portrait.
Okay. Gotcha.
But to me, just in terms of like what I do see that there's a lot of like people that they want to take they would love to have great brand photos, but they know like a quote uncut it, that they just like it doesn't get like a graphic does not get as much engagement as like a photo of themselves. So they just give in and they take a selfie instead of actually putting some thought into what the brand photo could be. I think planning is a huge part of having great brand photos of yourself, even if you are taking them yourself. People don't put a lot of thought into brand photo shoots when you're hiring a photographer, but they don't think twice when they're doing it themselves. They just expect to do it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm going to be creative. And then what happens if you're trying to be creative, but you don't have a plan? Then you freeze. And then you try to do the best with what you have there. So when you have a plan, you have a mood board, you have a shot list, you have, you worked on your essence and your intention so that your mood board and your shot list is infused with that energy. And you're kind of like, oh, you're exploring with poses, you're exploring with outfits, you're exploring with your brand colors and how they're represented in the image. Then what you have is way better chances to have a very high quality photo of yourself versus just an extended arm selfie. I think that filters are kind of creating a lot of body dysmorphia in humanity.
Yes, I agree.
And so like I was using a filter and I didn't realize that it was like making my lips bigger. And I'm like, that's not my face. And so like I'm like, this is so confused. That's not me. So I was just like so upset about like this, because it makes you feel like when you're looking at yourself in the mirror, like you're not good enough. When you're used to seeing the reality through a filter, then when you're actually taking your own photo, you're like, it's really hard to accept the way you are. And I think it's like acceptance is like one of the main principles, of moving through a healing process, is like accepting what's going on and kind of like seeing it. And so, for example, if someone that has like body image like a history with like eating disorders and body image problems, that was just like not good for me. So what I did instead, I was like, I grabbed I have Lightroom presets. Lightroom is an app that you use to edit photos. It's from Adobe. So if you do photography, you probably use Lightroom. And if you don't, you can just download the free app. It's like basically. So I have my own Lightroom presets that I use to work with when I have photo shoots and all that. And I created a filter on Instagram out of my go-to Lightroom preset. So if you go to my Instagram at the Lucias, you could actually use it. And it does not change your face. It just color corrects the photo colors to make it look like, even if you see my video right now, it's not really right off the camera. I like right out of the camera colors. I have an app in my computer that lets me color correct the warmth of the light and some tonal basically it helps me correct the tones of the image.
Gotcha. I think you hit on a lot there, and we got to take another quick break. Not a quick break. We got to get into 1 minute motivation. But I think you are so correct. There is like when these filters came out, I thought they were cute. I thought they were, funny, and people were exploring different things. But then I started seeing that certain, Instagram profiles and certain people, and it's like, no, I know you in real life. That is not what you look like. So we're going to get into that, and maybe you can help us with some things that can help them feel better about themselves, that can help to alleviate that. Somebody who has dealt with that yourself, and I'm sure you've got some practices that you have to literally go through, and maybe we can get into that a little bit. But 1 minute motivation, Lucia, is where I play a short motivational clip. I'm big on personal growth and self-development, and I try to incorporate that into every show. So I'll play this short clip. You just give me one takeaway. I'll give a couple takeaways, and then the audience usually comments a couple of their takeaways as well. So let's get into 1 minute motivation right here on the Cortez Hustle Show.
I believe every single one of us has genius within us. I believe every single one of us has this brilliance longing to see the light of the day. I believe every single person on the planet has a mighty mission and is available for a magnificent obsession in their own original way.
Now, is there an exact formula for this? Well, not exactly, but there are certain principles and disciplines and actions that anybody can do. And when they're combined in the right order, they add up to a success system that never fails. You can use these principles and disciplines to jumpstart your success and help you attract more of what you want in your life.
Every day in your life, you got to weed the negative and you got to fertilize the positive.
I think a winner is somebody who gets up every single day and fights the fight against doubt, fights the fight against fear, fights the fight against laziness and procrastination, and forces themselves to do the work so that they can become a better person, so that they can see their dreams come true, and so that they can astonish themselves.
Hoo-wee. All right. You being the guest, Lucia, what did you hear?
Well, that was a beautiful clip. I think that doubt is like this paper thin wall that we're so scared to cross. But it's paper thin, and as long as we have the courage to walk through it, that's all it takes to walk through it.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of like fears that were born out of unresolved issues. Yeah. And I think they become part of that wall.
Yeah.
And I think that the more you are willing to see them, to heal them, to let go of them, the better the outcome. The more healing that's going to happen. There's more growth, and yeah.
And I think that's where he said everybody has genius in them, right? But you don't get to that genius unless you face those doubts, unless you face those fears, unless you face those really self-imposed limitations, right? We kind of put that stuff on ourselves and say what we can't do, and we have to become fighters and fight, and you got to force yourself to make those tough decisions, do the what I call inner work, that stuff that's on the inside of you, that those battles that nobody know you're fighting but yourself, right? You gotta do that stuff. Principles and disciplines, and if you want to attract more, you got to become more, right? That growth you were talking about on the other side, dealing with the doubts and the inhibitions, that stuff is incredibly important for who you want to become.
I don't think you have to become more.
Mm-hmm.
I disagree. I think it's more about being honest with who you really are.
Okay.
I feel like we put a lot of like personas and layers of other people when as we grow up to cope with the world and to survive. And I think we become part of, like, all of our experience are kind of like part of that makeup, and we kind of lose touch with who we really are.
Yeah.
And the more we are able to tune into our true self, the better we're able to make like aligned decisions in our businesses, in our lives. Like it's like saying yes to going to a party even if you don't want to, right? Like you think, oh well, this person is it's been so good to me, and like I probably should go because I'm probably gonna meet some new person for contacts anyway. It's gonna benefit me, or I haven't seen them in forever. But maybe if you really don't want to go, maybe something is inside of you saying like, wow, intuitively, I don't think I should go.
Right. I love it. So becoming more of who you actually are, and aligning and being okay with that, stripping down to who you are at the essence, and becoming the best version of that. I love it. So we were talking about these things and what you do and your master classes and your teaching. So are your classes primarily for people who want to get into photography, or more for people who are entrepreneurs and who are brand building and could use better skills as image creators and curators of their brand to go to the next level?
It's mostly geared towards entrepreneurs, and it's all about self-photography. So it's all about being able to curate your own brand imagery from a very intentional place.
I love that, because there's a lot of entrepreneurs who are in the solopreneur space, like not in position to hire a team and add photographers on payroll or constantly do photo shoots. But I think in this online world that we now live in, to increase brand awareness, we're constantly adding pieces to our brand. We're constantly doing photos and images and memes and graphics. So I think that is a great thing to help people really get through and understand those various components of, hey, if you're going to do it yourself, whether just out of sheer will or out of necessity, here are some things that you can do to get the best bang for your buck. So what can an entrepreneur like myself expect, from your masterclass?
Well, I have a free masterclass. It's called 5 Steps to Creating High Quality Photos of Yourself. And you're going to learn basically my framework to taking, high quality photos, but also why you are the best person to take your own photos, and some other good stuff too. I would love to share. Yeah, you can share more later if you want. But yeah, that's basically it. And one of the things that I really like from this masterclass is that it really taps into the beginning of spiritual psychology and like how that applies to photography. And so a lot of the times people are holding themselves back from becoming visible.
Yeah.
And they don't really know quite why. And I think that if there was ever a moment that they felt unsafe to be seen, it really shows up in their business. I have someone I know, actually. So she's kind of an influencer, and she literally is growing her family, and she all of a sudden, like, this fears came of like not showing up as much because of that. And so to protect her family, I actually have a lot of like influencer clients and friends that, for example, like when they started like posting less when they had kids, or like they're trying to become, okay, what is it safe to share, what is not safe to share when you become kind of like so visible.
Yeah.
And it's that's kind of like amplified, like, okay, you're there, you're like in that level. But I think that before you get to that influencer status level of like thousands and thousands of followers, or even millions, some of my friends have like millions of followers. I'm like, what's going on? Like you barely show your face.
Right.
And you can tell. And I think it's like based on like some fear of being seen. And that's something that you can unpack in the masterclass.
Gotcha. I love that, because I know of a lot of people who are in that space, and it's like, you got such a beautiful spirit. You got such a beautiful message to share with the world. Your product or your service is so transformative, but because you don't want to be seen, then a lot of people are still hurting because they don't know that you have a solution. So they can kind of get some insight as to what's potentially holding them back, right? Because I know for me and a lot of people that I coach with, negative comments on their images and their works really affects them. And you talked a little bit about vulnerability and some of the issues that you went through with body image and that kind of stuff. Did you ever experience that? Like, hey, put something up and negative comment comes, I got to take it down, because it messes with your mind. And if you're in that space, it also messes with your bottom line if you're an entrepreneur, right?
Oh my God. So that's so interesting you mentioned that. Well, on my Instagram or my own photos and stuff, like on my own account like that, no one has ever said like anything mean. That's not, because that's not my brand either. Like people are not, my
right. You didn't accept any mean people to follow you, right? But
it's so funny. I used to have this one ad for my masterclass on Facebook ads, and for some reason, like this one image is the one that did the best. Like, I don't know if you've ever done ads. It's kind of like you have no idea what's going to resonate with people. And I had this like one image, and it's the one that actually got the most signups. And I was like, okay. So I just let it be, and I allowed it to be a thing. And it was just so interesting how like everyone and then, like every now and then, like I would get a mean comment, but not necessarily like super mean, but like something about the photo.
Right.
And then I would go to the person's like profile. Oh my God. And like they were criticizing me, but like their photos, they were not good. Like they're like, even their profile photo was just like, and I'm like, okay, bless your heart. Like, obviously this is triggering you because it's like an insecurity or like, and I would just like send them love and light, and I would just like say, thank you for caring enough for sharing that with me.
Yeah. And that's, and it burns my wife up because she can't, like you're so patient, you're so compassionate with these people. It's like, hey, I kind of know what I got myself into, being a public face of my brand, and people are always going to have mean things to say sometimes because they're just in a bad place themselves, or they don't feel good about themselves, and all of those sorts of things. So it's good that you respond that way. And I'm glad that your class kind of addresses that. We're going to take another quick break. And on the other side, Lucia is going to hit you guys with a freestyle, because I know she got bars, right? No, not that kind of freestyle. But on the other side, she's going to tell us some pointers that we can actually take away from this thing, like today, and implement in the next photo you take. Some of us, I'm not gonna lie, need to update our profile picture. So maybe you can give us a tip on a good profile image for your social media that we can do. So let's get a word from our sponsor, and we'll come back and continue to listen to and learn from Lucia Doynel, because that is a French last name. All right, keep it locked right here.
Today's show is brought to you by Hello Gorgeous Lifestyle, a unique lifestyle coaching brand offering a safe, graceful space that serves the whole family. Services are designed with your needs in mind to encourage and foster a gorgeous, balanced, happy, and healthy life. In the Build My Immunity Masterclass, you'll learn how to improve your overall health, plus the best juices, herbs, and meal plan to boost your immunity. Hello Gorgeous Lifestyle is a premium, full-service health, wellness, and life coaching brand for the entire family. Don't forget, sign up for our power-packed newsletter and you'll save $10 on our Juicing for Weight Loss ebook filled with delicious recipes designed to help you lose weight and aid on your healthy lifestyle journey. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Hello Gorgeous Lifestyle, where we help you live your life by design and not by default. Everything you need is already inside you. Don't wait for others to light your life. You have your own matches. Shop HelloGorgeousLifestyle.com.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Cortez Hustle Show. We're listening to and learning from the best in the game at helping you take better self-portraits, because as they say, Lucia, a picture speaks 1,000 words, right? So now is the time of the show where we do something called Freestyle. Freestyle is all about you just kind of giving us some tips and some pointers, or if there's anything that needs to be reiterated in the show that you feel that needs to be highlighted again, or some things that we have not covered because the conversation has not evolved that far yet, then this is why we do Freestyle. Speak from the heart, 90 seconds to 2 minutes. Let's go with the Lucia version of Freestyle right here on the Cortez Hustle Show.
Oh my God, so much pressure to say something smart. If I had to say my one takeaway from this 1 hour, it would be to listen to your heart. What is it that you're trying to share? And grab from that essence, inspiration for your images. Planning is key. Create a shot list and prepare like time in your calendar to spend some time where you're going to take maybe 20, 100 photos and maybe just like 2 and that is okay. Right. And just because you don't like an image, it doesn't mean anything about you.
Gotcha. I love that. So we before we went to the commercial, we talked about profile pictures, right? From a branding perspective only, like I'm an entrepreneur, I'm trying to grow a business and use social media. How important is the right social media profile picture?
Oh my God. I think that when it comes to your profile photo, it needs to be super, it needs to be like a very clean photo. It needs to be a photo of you, unless you are a brand that is like a product brand, and then like maybe your logo. But if you're a personal brand, it needs to be a nice headshot with a clean background.
Gotcha.
And a big smile. Well, I mean, it doesn't have to be a big smile. Mine, I'm not smiling that big, but
yeah. Well, I can't help but smile big sometimes. But I think it should be warm and inviting, right? You want people to follow you, so give them a reason to follow you or at least engage with your brand. A couple tips on taking a good photo, whether it's a selfie style, whether it is you set your tripod up and you got your remote control, or you set your timer. What are some good tips for a good profile picture selfie?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you. Give me 1 second. Would you mind saying that again?
Yeah. What are some tips that we can use when we're trying to take that good profile picture headshot that we're going to use? We know we should smile, medium to big. We know that clean background, but what are some other things? Are there some lighting tips that you can give us that to help that to turn out better?
Yeah. Oh my God. Lighting is so huge. Just more lighting, the more softer basically if you're, I'm guessing people are taking these with their phones.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let's
Most
imagine
people are.
that.
Yeah.
So if you're taking it with your phone, like grab a big window in your house and just like get the closest to your window as you can. That's going to be the higher quality. And if you don't have light, get a really big ring light.
Oh, okay. Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
You know how people, so this is why. You know how mostly like people take selfies in their car or in the bathroom?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that is?
So that they can use the mirror? I don't know.
Because that's where the best lighting is. And that's when they see themselves the best in their photos.
Really? Really?
So you can create your own soft box, like the soft box that you have in the car. Basically, you're just surrounded by windows in the car, right? You're just in a very close proximity with light, but you're shaded.
That natural light is coming in the car because of all the windows.
Yes.
That's why you look better to yourself when you're seeing yourself in your phone and you're taking it. Well, exactly. What you say?
And in the bathroom mirrors is usually because you're getting ready, and usually the bathroom light is usually the best light, or like very high light, because you want to see your makeup, you want to be able to see your trimming of your beard. You know, you want to make sure that. So usually people put really good lighting in their bathrooms so they could see, right? So usually that bright light is great because it's like a lot of light, and so your phone picks it up correctly.
I'm thinking about my bathroom now, and above our mirror, the fixture that we have has 3 receptacles for bulbs, and we have all it. And when one of the bulbs goes out, it looks weird, so we replace it right away. Now I don't do any bathroom selfies, Lucia, but it does look weird when I'm looking at myself in the mirror, and it's like, oh man, it's a little dim. So I replace it right away. Amazing. Talk real quick to the person who has a special message that they know is effective. They know they are transforming lives, but they are a little afraid to get in front of a camera and do a self-portrait shoot, put their own pictures out there. What would you say to a person? Because you know the difference between someone who gets in front of a camera and actually leverages their own likeness to skyrocket their brand. And today's society, reality TV says, I want to know the person behind the brand. So that's a huge shift, but I'm scared. You have to say, if I'm scared to step in front of that camera and be vulnerable.
Well, the first question would be, which part of you is scared?
Wait, which part? Okay.
Was there a time in your life where it wasn't safe to be seen? And you gotta dig in. And when you find that, you know, that part of yourself that is truly scared, you might want to ask why a few times until you get to the root one. And then, you know, you gotta give love to that part of yourself.
Wow.
And support yourself. You're kind of like your own parent in a way. So it's kind of like having your own cheerleader and your own like parent within yourself, just holding you and go in there with you as you go.
That is so rich. I heard Mel Robbins say one time, that she literally high fives herself every time she sees herself in the mirror. And I thought that was so dope, because she said we often will cheer for everybody else but ourselves. So she said, every time I'm in the restroom and I see myself in the mirror, I give myself a high five and say, hey,
Exactly.
you're doing a good job. You know, find something positive throughout the day that you won. You had a little victory and you forgot to pat yourself on the back. Also, we live in a society that, unfortunately, negativity is what sells. So we will literally be blessed 95% of our day. But when we get home at the end of the day, what do we focus on? That 5% that was negative. So you're saying you got to flip that, get down in deep, figure out what's causing that insecurity and heal it from there, and love on it, love on yourself, give yourself a few high fives throughout the day. Yeah, man, I love it. I love it. So tell everybody how they can connect with you and your wonderful masterclass, so they can learn how to better capture the essence of themselves in still imagery.
Yeah, you can just go to watch on demand my free masterclass, 5 steps to taking high quality photos of yourself. And you can also connect with me on Instagram. I'm an open book, so feel free to connect there as well. And I also have a free Lightroom preset that you can try on my Instagram profile, which is one of my filters. So you can start using it if you don't want to change your face.
Nice, nice, nice. Well, we have been listening to and learning from Madam Lucia Doynel. Is that it? Is that better? Right here on the Cortez Hustle Show, guys. Links will be in the description and the show notes so that you can sign up for that free masterclass. Learn how to heal yourself of any insecurities about being the face of your brand, if that's your desire. And then once you heal yourself of those things, by the way, you can get that in the masterclass, right? You'll learn some of those things to heal yourself because of the spiritual psychology element to what Lucia does. But once you kind of do that inner work, then learn how to actually do the tactics and strategies of capturing that essence. So you create beautiful imagery to go along with the beauty that you have and feel on the inside. Did I say enough? Was that it? Is that good? All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Cortez Hustle Show. That wraps it up for us. Until we talk to you guys next time, I want you to get your money up, because you absolutely can do it. But more importantly, you deserve to do it, each and every single one of you. Now hustle up. But you've got to overcome fear if you're going to win.
You're tuned into the Cortez Hustle Show. Please like and subscribe.